So this is going to be my 10-month update for Pan That Palette, and in case this is the first video that you've seen from me, I picked out two palettes at the beginning of the year. I have the Urban Decay Naked palette, the original one, as well as the Urban Decay Feminine palette. This one has since been discontinued, but I picked them out at the beginning of the year. I've slowly been working on them. I will go ahead and link the intro video up in the cards as well as down in the description box for you in case you wanted to go back and kind of check out where I was at the beginning of the year. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and start with the Urban Decay Naked palette and my progress on this after using it for 10 months. So let me go ahead and insert last month's progress update right now. And this is what my palette looks like after 9 months of using it. And this is a slightly different angle than I typically use, but this is where I'm at so far after 10 months of use. As you can see in here, I have made a decent amount of progress in a couple of, a handful of the shades in my opinion anyways. But the first couple of shades, I have Virgin here. It looks really nice in there, I think. And then Sin, that one is almost finished. That one will most definitely be finished by the next time for sure. I think both of these will be, honestly, because I've been using Sin all over the lid, and then just to kind of counteract some of the pinky tones in it, I've been mixing it with Virgin for probably the last week or so, and so it kind of just gives it a little bit more of a brightening base, like a whiter base to it. So I like that one. I was using Virgin just to highlight the cheekbones and like under the brow and stuff occasionally, but I think I'll just continue to pair those together until I run out of Sin. Naked is looking a lot better. I haven't been reaching for it as much as I probably should have, but I definitely feel like that one could be finished before the end of the year, just because it's such a, compared to like Buck right here, Naked is so much, it's so much looser in the pan. Like there's a lot more kick up when I put a fluffy brush in there, like a blending brush. So I don't have any doubt that that one will be finished off. Sidecar, I did use it a little bit, but I'm still holding off on using it as much as I could, just because that one's my all-time favorite shade out of this entire palette and I love it so much. So I'm trying to use it extremely sparingly. Buck, like I said, has a little bit more pan showing in that one. Half Baked, I'm not a gold person, but this one's okay. I definitely don't think it's going to be finished off before the end of the year, and I don't really mind. I really don't mind if it is or not, just because I'm not a gold person. So I'm not going to keep this palette around just for the gold. So whatever's used up by the end of the year, great. If there's something left over, a little bit left over, that's fine by me. But I do still have 2 months worth of panning this palette. So we'll see how far I can get on it. Smog is looking a little bit bigger. The pan is looking a little bit bigger in that one. I think I might have used Dark Horse like once, maybe twice, just to deepen up the outer corner when I didn't have something else on hand. So I really don't feel like I'm going to be reaching for Dark Horse anymore. At the beginning of the year, I put a little stipulation on this palette just because I had two palettes that I was trying to pan, and the stipulation was that I didn't want to finish off Dark Horse, Hustle, and was it Creep or Gunmetal? It was one of those two, and I think Half Baked was in there as well, but I come to find that Half Baked isn't really that bad, but I only wanted to hit pan on Dark Horse and Hustle, and Creep is probably going to stay the same as it is as well. So these three right here, they are probably more than likely going to just stay right about where they're at. I wouldn't be surprised if they looked almost identical to where they look now at the end of the year. Toasted is looking a lot better, ton more pan in that one. I really wish that it had more of a pink or purple tone to it. If you look at it in the pan, it definitely looks like there's more of a pinky kind of mauve shift to it. It just seems like there's a little bit more of that kind of tone to it, but when you put it on the eyes, it just looks like a bronze. It honestly looks like Smog or like just a chocolatey bronze sort of color. So I'm a little disappointed in that one. I've been struggling with it for quite a while now, probably 6 months now, and the only way that I can combat that is if I put down like a pink or a purple base underneath. Even if I layer Toasted with like more of a pinky toned shadow or a purpley toned shadow. I have a couple of those in my other palette that I'm panning. It just doesn't pull the purple and pink tones like it looks in the pan. So that one's really disappointing for me. Definitely wouldn't repurchase this palette when I'm finished with it, just because I've been disappointed with some of these as I've used them more and more. But Hustle, I think I used that one 3 or 4 times actually when I was pairing it with Toasted. So, you know, I don't have any intention to finish that one off by the end of the year, but there is a touch, just a little titch more progress in that one. I'm not sure about Creep. I honestly don't recall using that one at all in the past month. So anyway, there's that. And then if I scoot this little shadow out of the way, you can see Gunmetal has a little bit more progress in there as well. So I definitely think that one will be finished off by the end of the year. For the most part, I think that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, at least half of this palette will be completely finished by the end of the year from my calculations, and there will be everything else with pan. I know that Half Baked will probably be over halfway finished off, Smog will probably be halfway finished off, and then Buck. I'll try and get as far on that one as I can, but it's really not, I really don't feel like I'm gonna have more than half the shadows finished off out of here. I do have 2 kind of Frankenstein custom shadows that I created when I was kind of mixing some of my shades together. This one over here on the far end, it kind of looks similar to Gunmetal here. I did pull some of the Gunmetal powder shadow into this pan when I pressed it, but I had kind of a very light silvery minty green color that I mixed it with, and I think it's really pretty, and it's very reminiscent of Pistol from the Naked 2 palette. And then this one over here, it's a really nice green color. I like mixing it with the what is that one? Sidecar. I keep getting Sidecar and Half Baked mixed up, their names mixed up, but this is a really nice green color. I made a lot more progress on this one since the last time, and if you have just a metal refill pan like this, then they just stick to your palette because it is magnetic. It's very accessible and easy to remember to use something if it's attached to the bottom, but on this green one, I actually used some from Dark Horse and mixed it in with more of like a yellow-green, very light yellow-green color, and that's mostly why I have pan on Dark Horse. I have used it a couple times, but the pan in here is mostly due to making this little Frankenstein custom shadow. So anyway, that is where I'm at on my palette. I'm pretty happy with it so far. I definitely will be excited if I have half this palette finished off by the end of the year. But anyway, that is where I'm at with this first one. I also, like I mentioned before, I also have the Urban Decay Feminine palettes that's in this project too. And like I said, this one was discontinued. I did pay full price for this at Ulta when I bought mine. And let me show you here. Actually, before I show you where I'm at in this one, let me go ahead and insert last month's progress update on the Feminine palette. And this is what the Feminine palette looks like after 9 months of using it. And this is where I'm currently at in the Urban Decay Feminine palette after 10 months of use. If you look in here, I have made a little bit of progress on a couple of these, and I'm pretty happy about that. I honestly haven't been wearing eyeshadow as much as I could and as much as I have in the past. For the past little bit, I'm just not interested in eyeshadow as much as I used to be. I do like to mix this one with the Urban Decay Naked palette just because there's some pink and purple tones in this one that I like to mix with Toasted, as well as this just provides a little bit of a pop of color. So, you know, it kind of mixes it up just a little bit. But I will say that Gunmetal down here, I do have a duplicate. This one is in the Urban Decay Naked palette. So this one has not moved the entire year. It's going to look identical from when I started this challenge at the very last update. It's going to look the exact same. So no progress on this one. at all. But if you look up at the top here, Bordello is almost finished. This is probably my favorite, well, no, this is my second favorite shadow out of this palette. It's really beautiful. It's a very light kind of pink shade, but it has a slight purple tinge to it. I really like it. It's really beautiful. You can wear this all over the lid. It doesn't make you look sickly or anything, but it's a really pretty kind of pink tone to it. Skimp is probably my all-time favorite kind of brightening lid shade, kind of like what I have all over my lid today. It's really beautiful. It has just the slightest shimmer sheen running through it, not sparkles so much, but just like a sheen that just really brightens on the eye. You can wear this as a highlight as well. This looks really beautiful, very natural as a face highlight. AC/DC is looking pretty good. I did have to repress this one, and I have hit pan on this since I repressed it, so that's always great news. I definitely think that AC/DC and Bordello will most certainly be finished before the 11-month update. I'm not 100% sure about Skimp just because I do have Sin and Virgin. I think once I used up that Virgin shade out of the Naked palette, after I use that one up, I'll probably move over to Skimp and use this one a little bit more. I'll focus a little bit more on that one, but I really love the top row up there. Like I said, Gunmetal, no progress, won't be any progress. Hijack down here, this is a really beautiful kind of teal shade. It looks great with the yellow shade out of the Urban Decay Naked palette. It's just nice. They go together really lovely. I think I even have I think it was like a get ready with me. A couple of videos that I've done, I've had like that yellow and teal kind of look on the eye, and then I did a get ready with me using that shade. So Hijack, that is a swatch of it right there. It's a little bit sheer, but you can build it up. I honestly feel like these four right here will most certainly, without a doubt, be finished off before the end of the year. The only one that I'm worried about out of this palette is this Lost shade. This is interesting. It almost has like the slightest bit of a green tinge to it. The pan is a little bit bigger. I don't reach for this one as much as I probably should be. I probably should just mix it up with like Smog or something from the Naked palette and just have like a darker chocolatey brown kind of bronzy eye, and that would probably look really great, but I don't use this one as much as I should. So that is what it looks like there. Let me give you a quick swatch of this one too since I'm at it. That is Lost right there. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that green tinge to it. It's really chocolatey in certain lighting, and then it has like that lighter, almost taupey sheen to it, but it has like a green tinge. It's very odd. It really doesn't go with anything else in this palette here except for Skimp. So when I used to wear this, I would just put Skimp all over the lid and then put Lost in the crease. So I've been trying that a little bit. Lost is probably going to have just a tiny bit left in it if I don't start using it more frequently. These shadows in here are very soft. They're much softer than the ones from the Naked palette right over here. So these feel like they're pressed just a little bit tighter, with the exception of Sin. I think if anything, if I had a chance to finish off one of the palettes, it would probably be this one before the end of the year, just because of the pressing strength that's with the shadows. So anyway, I don't know if that made sense. I hope it did, but that's where I'm at so far after 10 months of use. I really appreciate you guys watching. Let me know how you're doing, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.